there, fans. The King of the Runners, Elite Godson, is back for more Pixel Gun 3D weapon stereotypes. This is part 2, the shotgun weapon stereotype. Let's begin. The description of the shotgun weapon stereotype is, it is a shotgun that shoots a spread of bullets. It has bad accuracy and deals a good amount of damage for starting players at level 1. But however, the mobility is very low in this one, unfortunately. Its appearance. The shotgun is a generic pump-action shotgun with no stock and a pistol grip. The frame, barrel, and magazine tube of the shotgun has a silvery gray finish on it. While, however, the pistol grip and forend/pump are made of a dark brown wood type. When the shotgun is fired or reloaded, spent shells are launched from the large ejection port on the right side of the weapon. You can kind of barely see a little bit of it. There is a small bead sight at the end of the shotgun's barrel, but however, it cannot be used in its actual game format. When reloading this weapon, there is a pumping animation on this weapon where the player inserts bullets inside the shotgun, but has no delay mechanics at all for it. The performance on this one. This weapon, being a simple shotgun, shoots multiple bullets at once with a spread. These bullets have instant bullet travel. It does decent damage, but is not recommended once the player gets out of its low-level zones. The changelog updates for these ones. This was first released in the 2.5.0 update. In the 9.4.0 update, this weapon got a texture update, making it look more like detailed-wise. Because previously it was just all like pixelated and blocky, but it now got a texture update and got redesigned, which is looking a little bit more better. But however, in the 10.4.0 update, the weapon model was revised again to make it a little bit more... Still back to being blocky a little bit, but had to rechange it back again, but then came back again, and then had to do a whole lot of changeovers. Those two updates, the 9.4.0 and the 10.4.0, they've been doing a whole lot of debates between it either to make it all blocky or just more like a little bit realistic. This particular update is just a bunch of question marks because it doesn't say exactly when this was updated actually. It said on the update, reload animation changed from loading the shells into the barrel was now been changed into loading it properly in the magazine loading port. So like you kind of barely see a little bit of it because when doing the reload, I can show you guys a little example already for this. So right here is where I'm doing the training ground. So I'm just doing it for just a little animation. But right here, on the very bottom part, you kind of see where I was reloading a little bit, is where they changed that. But previously, it's where it's just loading it from the side. Like, this right here is what we do now, but previous updates ago is when they only did it from the side portion of the shotgun itself. But there was nothing else they can... there's like no actual video clip of me doing it because... Most of these weapons I just obtained, and like I said, my older phones don't want to work properly for me, and I want to get all these weapons so I can start doing like stereotypes on these ones. But like I said, the reload, where you saw a little clip this already of, is where you just load on the very bottom part of it. But in the previous update, not sure what update it was, I can't remember exactly because it was all question marks, is where you actually do the loading animation for reloading it on the side. But anyways, moving right along for this one, in the 12.5.0 update, this weapon was added in the Deadly Games and was changed its specific name from Simple Shotgun to just Shotgun in general. Nothing else included, just Shotgun. Anyways, in the 21.1.0 update, this weapon was secretly buffed. This was a little bit more on the OP side during that update. But, however, unfortunately, in the 25.2.0 update, the damage was decreased without any expectedly announcing it. but it was still a little bit OP and buffed around the 21.1.0 update, but in the 25.2.0 update, it did not specifically announce that it was going to start doing a damage decrease on it. And now for my trivia. Unfortunately, there's only one simple trivia question on this one. Anyways, here is the trivia. And by the way, these are multiple choice, by the way. The trivia is this. Despite having only a magazine size of 7, the player loads this amount of shells into the shotgun. Is it A, 10, B, 15, C, 8, or D, 5? The answer is 8. And that is all my notes I have for this one. We are now going to do gameplay of this and do myself a scale rating of this. And like I said, for the very first one, which was the pixel gun on this one is a little bit more challenging because, like I said, I rated from a scale from 5 out of 10 because it's pretty decent. Its weapon is a little need more upgrading to anyway because we can't even upgrade common weapons for defaults because they're all level 1s. So bear in mind, most of these things, you can use these in arena or mostly like in regular matches or also campaign areas as well too. But moving right along, we're just going ahead and start doing the shotgun for this type of category. So let's go ahead and hop into our very first match. And just to change things up a little bit, like I said, most of these weapons I will have to use cat spams on anyway. And I did say this as well too for the heavy weapons, but some of them I will have to use anyway just for funsies. And for gadgets, I still need to use only the invisibility and the astral wand. And its damage output is still pretty good from my understanding. But not pretty good because you have to be in close range for it. But you have to get at the right moment for it. And plus, like I said, most of these things can be a little bit more challenging for it. There we go. It gets used to anyway for it. Minus the part about the deny one as well too for the gacha. I'm not using that one, unfortunately, for it. There we go. But yeah, nothing else about this weapon anyway, because this one's a little bit more better than the pixel gun itself, because the shotgun has a little bit more like a bullet spread, and being with it just a plain shotgun, it's like a lot more fun. And also, like I said, I'm still going to be doing like 3 matches worth anyway for it. But, yeah. And like I said, I did also turn off game chat anyway because I don't want to give myself a whole lot of like folks thinking I'm just like doing whatever I'm doing because I want to make it more safe and more clear anyway and just more helpful anyway. Well, not helpful, more like just do like actual stereotypes and just show you guys gameplay of it and see from my actual ratings itself. Because once I did myself the actual tier list for my 100 weapons of Pixelgun 3D stuff for most of these weapons, some of these weapons, however, just got redesigned. And that could be a little bit more challenging. Because some of them were actually in the OG category, but now they're not anymore. And plus, its reload animation is pretty decent on this one already, so I'm pretty happy about that. And plus, the distance between with this, most of this stuff as well too, is when you're closer to it, the only thing about it is that you had to be in decent range for actually to work. And I did also forget to point this out as well too, is that most of these weapons, like melee ones, I had to actually do most of them in knife party anyway for it. And we're almost done with our very first match, and then we'll be moving on to the next map. So this one is still pretty good, but still needs a little bit more damage kills for this anyway, because I only got 3 from that one, but that's it for this map, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Ant's Life. Like I said previously in the trivia from my very first episode, you can kind of see there is a replica of the pixel gun itself, which is from one of the questionnaires I just said already for it. But yeah, most of these specific maps can be very tricky to get wins on anyway, especially, like I said, some of these are a little bit more like on the common side. And I did forget to point this out as well too, for the other gadgets, anything with the modules included with it, I cannot use. Sometimes I will probably do a little slippy oopsie on this one anyway, but I cannot use them unfortunately for it. The other weapons, the only gadgets I can only use is mostly just the Astral Wand or the Invincibility Gadget. You can kind of see what the difference between the range as well too for the shotgun spread is that if you go super close to it, it does higher damage because of its bullet spread. But if you're just from far away distance range, it'll just go from either between from 7, which is the lowest, or 5, or from the highest is usually between 13 to 20, but it also depends on the range as well. And I'm not sure about headshots included for this one. That's going to be a little more challenging on that end. That was a good save right there. Okay, I don't know how that bot was like right behind me and still shot me like miles away. Well, not like miles away, it was like super close. I think this one's just only like bots and whatnot, but this one's gonna be a little more kind of like challenging, but still, I'm just only doing weapon stereotypes for most of these weapons anyway for it. And also for the shotgun itself, yes, it can be cast spammed anyway for it. Like, it has no delay animation at all, but still be fun to use. And the only downside is that there is no weapon skins included for this. And the only simple time when I show weapon skins is mostly whenever like I see the weapon skin icon for the gallery, is when I show you guys specific like ones of like which ones were introduced. Okay, this could be a little bit more challenging already because I'm still losing. There we go. Alright, just gotta be more careful on this one. Because he has the Project Marlin, and Project Marlin can be really a big pain. And we're just coming close to the second end of the match. And we just got ourselves a draw. But doesn't matter for me anyway, because it was just only bots in this one, but still a pretty good decent weapon anyway for this specific map, I can't speak right now, but let's go ahead and move on to the last one. And then we'll do ourselves a rating. Sky Island. I love Sky Island's actual song, not song, like music in this one, because in the newer Sky Island map, it was just like no, but with the campaign world of this Sky Island map, it's a lot more better. So that's like one good note already for it. Still a pretty good decent weapon on this one from my end, so I'm really happy about that. It does 20 to the gadgets for any type of like turret gadgets, like the sticky turret. It does 20 per. I don't know why most of these folks are just standing there and just letting me just try to get some kills and whatnot. I think they're trying to figure out I'm trying to do weapon stereotypes, but they just think I'm just playing around, or I think I'm just like level 1. But no, I'm just doing stereotypes, that's all. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick edit on this one. But actually no. I'm going to do this part edit already because I'm going to do actually one more map of this because I cannot post this anyway on YouTube and whatnot because there was one specific player that had an inappropriate word in it. So I'm going to do one more match of this anyway. So I'm probably going to have to cut off the entire section of it. So you saw mostly of Sky Island, but not really because Sky Island I had to cut out. So we're just going to do one more match of this already for it. Let's go ahead and do some Aztec Temple in this one. Aztec Temple will be my last one. Previously, I believe I said this, but I'll probably put this into my editing phase for myself. I was doing Sky Island when I realized there was one player that had a no-no, like a no-no word. Like he cannot actually use anyway. So this right here will be the actual final map for my rating, and then I'll just do a scale from 1 to 10 and whatnot. And I think I already know for my answer for this one already for it, because it's a pretty good, decent damage rating for it. also do love this as well too, that with this new season update, by the way, they just brought back the OG seasons of everything, like the Coliseum. That one's like by far like everyone's favorite. But one simple thing that just brought up into me is just like something we have not seen in a very long time, like way back in 2017 or 2018 or whatever else it was, like during my high school era. And that is one of the specific sandbox maps, because they have 4 maps in this one, but the 5th one is still not returning, unfortunately, which I'm not even sure if the developers decide about it yet, but there was one specific thing I have not seen in a very long time, and that is the Quiet Island sandbox map. Mostly everyone loves that map as well too, especially Winter Party, but after they did a few updates, they added 3 new sandbox maps for everyone just to try out and have fun with, which was Scary Pizzeria, Sky Island, the newer Sky Island map, by the way, and there was one other one, I can't remember exactly what it was. Because previously it was only 2 maps, which is either Winter Party or Quiet Island. But there was a 3rd one, I can't remember exactly. There was Sky Island, there was Scary Pizzeria, and I'm drawing a blank on that last one. I can't remember exactly what that last one was. It was not Classic Pool. I'm like drawing a blank. Like, I know it, I just can't remember exactly what it was. Because there was Sky Island, Scary Pizzeria. Because it was a total of 4 I remembered before they removed Quiet Island map. Because I was hoping it would be more like in the seasonal time for Valentine's Day, but no, they decided not to bring it back anyway for Valentine's and whatnot. But I'm so drawn out on what that last map is for Sandbox. I just can't remember it. Because there's Winter Party, Scary Pizzeria, Sky Island, and the 4th one. I can't remember exactly what it is. And it's not Quiet Island. But anyways, the OG season is pretty decent and not decent, like pretty amazing actually. And some folks may be returning because they just brought back Coliseum. But one thing I really want to bring up as well too is that they also didn't bring back Quiet Island. They haven't brought it back in years. But now is time for the official rating. Let's move back to the lobby. Okay, so for the initial thoughts of the shotgun weapon, well, you won't even see it anyway because I have the thermal scythe weapon in this one. But anyways, for my final ratings of the shotgun itself, I will probably give this one a 7 out of 10. Still, it's level 1, and only low-level players will have a good amount of damage output for it when they're beginning level players, like level 1 through 5 and whatnot. It could be a little bit more tedious at first when you go up into higher levels, like reach up to like level 10 and higher up. A little bit more challenging on that one, but there's not much you can do because it's only just a level 1 on that type of portion. But shotgun, for my final rating, I would say a 7 out of 10. Pretty good, decent damage. And like I said, most of them are like higher modules I have. Some of them are like level 8 or level 9 and whatnot. Pretty good, pretty decent and whatnot. But this right here will conclude part 2 of my Pixel Gun 3D weapon stereotypes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Lightning Strike.